Hello and welcome to First Thoughts. It's your co-host Jensen here with Richard and Josh. We're three mates that grew up together and we decided to start a podcast called First Thoughts. What we basically do, we each bring a topic and we have to try and figure out what it is. So for instance, one week I brought Vimana and they had to try and figure out what on earth a Vimana was. So how are we both doing, boys? I know it's been a long time.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm not doing too bad. Had a nice little chilled week.
Lovely.
So I can't really complain.
Hair's growing back.
Yeah, hair's growing back a little bit more. I mean,
yeah, you want a little
hair
bit.
Watch. You want to follow that hashtag?
What we all drinking? What we all drinking?
A nice cup of tea again.
Yes.
Because that's how we like to roll. How are you, Josh?
I'm great. Yeah, I'm hyped for this, as always. I think that's all I ever say at the start of these things.
I'm always hyped.
I know, everyone's hyped.
I'm just a hype man. But no, I'm good. I'm on the good old H2O today.
Oh,
Hydro
yes.
homies
Nice.
represent.
I'm also hydro homieing
Nice
for this episode.
You got to get your 2 litres, boys.
I've moved my chocolate
And
peanuts
girls.
away from me because no one needs to hear my.
You munching on them again this week, are you?
I've put them to one side. So
Nice.
right, I'll kick you off. Now I will admit, I'm not quite as prepared or as knowledgeable on this subject, but I'm going to do my best. I will do my best. So I would love your first thoughts on Apophenia.
Oh, I've heard of this word. And I can't remember where I've heard it before. So that's
Sounds
no
like
help.
a Greek goddess.
Yes.
Apophenia.
Yeah, it sounds almost like Apollo and Athena, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, like a hybrid between Apollo and Athena.
So I'm guessing it comes from some Latin or Greek word, meaning when you put those two together and it means what we're trying to figure out.
I've looked for etymology.
Right. Now or when you were doing your research?
Both.
Okay. All right.
So, but it originally comes from a German word because it was coined by a German.
So is it a German phrase then, or just the origin of the word is
no,
German?
it's not one of them weird German words that they have that we don't have.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm fascinated by them. Like words to describe things which we have to use a whole sentence to describe.
But so go on, give me your first thoughts before we go into any more details.
Go on, Josh, what's your first thought?
Apophenia. Is that correct? Is that what you said, Jensen?
That is correct.
So originally my first thought was a Greek goddess, but I think now, based off of the limited info I've got from you, Apophenia, I am thinking of aphrodisia.
Ooh.
Or something to do possibly with love or emotion. That is like so out there.
I'm afraid it's not.
I knew it
really
would be.
really good go. But like, if it was Afra, I could get you going down that route.
So my first thought is:
go on,
is
Rich.
it some sort of like medical disease or illness, or something down the medical profession type world?
Right. Okay. Right. Well, you know what? You're getting into the right track now. Ooh. So I'll give you your first thing. So it's a German term that was coined by a psychiatrist, Klaus Conrad,
I've heard of that name.
in 1958. So coined by a psychiatrist. So that gets us into the ballpark of where we're starting to look at and theorize and all that other good stuff.
So it's got to be like psychological.
Nice. I think Jensen gave us that.
Good shot.
Yeah. Cheers, mate. Yeah. You didn't see where I was going with that, did you?
Go on.
And now I've lost my train of thought. Thanks, Josh.
Finish your thought, Rich.
So it's like a psychological disease or therapy.
It's not a therapy or a disease, but you're really on the right lines, though. You really are on the right lines.
Is it a diagnosis, though? Like, like a personality type, for example?
Right. It's not a personality personality type.
Right.
However, it has been like in Klaus Conrad's 1958 publication. He tied it to the beginning stages of schizophrenia, though this thing, apophenia, is actually something that we all do. It's something that we all do, and like I was reading before, not just today, but mainly today, that it is linked in some way to kind of the way we've developed maybe evolutionary, which obviously tied to evolutionary psychology. But
So
Can
Go
I
on.
just butt in? Sorry.
go.
Is it a reaction to something, or like a fear?
It's not a fear. No.
can I butt in?
Yeah, go
You
on.
may butt in.
I should just do it and not ask because I
Yeah,
myself
that's
is
what
not
I do.
putting in. But
Just
so
go.
I'm thinking now of like inner monologues, for example, or is it kind of speaking to yourself out loud, possibly something to do with the diagnosis of early onset schizophrenia? It's some sort of trait, so it's some sort of action that you're doing, maybe, which would result in.
That's the way I was going, like an action.
Interesting, because he links it to early stages of delusional thought.
Right.
But it's this thing is actually used by gamblers, which is interesting.
This thing is used by gamblers.
Yeah.
So it's a thing, or it's not a mindset, or a
well
trait,
documented as a rationalization for gambling.
Okay. Is it kind of like maybe the belief that everything will
Or everything's gonna go your way
for you?
Oh, well, like.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily that it's gonna
hold the
go
power,
your way.
Oh,
But you have an influence on it.
It's not you hold the power, but it might be to do with the way. Well, I'm saying it might be the way
they think
they are seeing things.
They like to have the control,
Right. Okay.
and they want to do it like their way, and they have it set out their way. Like to make you feel like you're playing a part of their game.
It's no, but yeah, like when they finally reveal what this is, if we don't get there, that is, I think we will. I think you're really on the right track.
Right.
But let's just go over like what we know. So we obviously know it's to do with the mind. It's to do with the way people look at things, think about things, and it's often linked to how people kind of rationalize their gambling. And you've said that it's maybe about that people think it's going to go a certain way.
Yep.
And what is it they're seeing? What is it that gamblers are seeing or looking for?
The next big payout.
Yeah, partly. Oh,
The buzz.
This is one of those. It's not the buzz. No, this is one of those ones where it's hard to do it. Hard to like break it down without saying it.
This is something you say every week.
Yeah, I know. This is my thing that I say every week. I find this really hard.
But no,
But I tell you what, it's linked to something that I was thinking of doing as a topic, if I can say it, which is, oh my gosh, pareidolia, which is actually where people think they can see faces in things. So people think they've seen like Mary in toast, and it's linked to that kind of thing.
So they foresee that they can see a positive outcome.
Not necessarily a positive outcome, but they see
like
something.
They know what's going to come next.
Richard, you are closest.
Oh, man.
You are close. It's almost it. It's almost it. It's really, really close.
Put me out of my misery.
Put me out of my misery.
Okay, so apophenia is the tendency to mistakenly perceive connections and meaning between unrelated things.
Wow.
So, like, for instance,
nice.
I don't know if you ever have it and you look at the clock and it's, why is it every time I look at the clock, it's always that time? Like, I have that. Almost every day I look at the clock and I see 11:11. And some people get into, like, angel numbers and whatever else. I just think it's an interesting coincidence.
Yeah,
Apophenia is an error of perception, the tendency to interpret random patterns as meaningful. So it's really interesting because in a world where we are surrounded by patterns and there's patterns to try and find.
Yeah.
But like what I was talking before about evolutionary psychology kind of thinking is that obviously stuff like you feel a little tickle on your neck and you think there's something there, or you're in the house alone and you hear a creak, things like that, and you think, oh, is that someone breaking in? Or you hear something in the grass and you think, is that a snake? You know?
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I thought there was going to be a banana spider in my bananas because I saw something about banana spiders once and I was terrified of bananas. So I don't go in the ocean because Jaws happened, and now I don't go in the ocean. So
amazing,
you know. But so I thought it was a really interesting phenomenon, and Richard, you might have heard it because it was actually in a YouTuber we both watched that I've put you onto. And she mentioned it in a recent.
Yes.
So that's where it came up. That's where it came up.
Yes.
So
that's where
is it the one I'm thinking of?
It is the one you're thinking of. Yes. But like she mentioned this phenomenon, and I was like, that's really interesting. I was like, I'm saving that. That is a topic.
I think psychology in general is just fascinating. Like,
it's so vast.
If I could go back to kind of like A level, I think I'd do psychology.
There's some amazing stuff in it, like some really interesting stuff.
It can go off it's like a massive spectrum as well of like, you know what I mean?
It's a broad research area, isn't it?
And then you can use it for literally everything. You could break everything down into psychology.
Well, it's human behaviour, isn't it? Everything we do
exactly.
can be analysed and critiqued to a certain extent.
Like why we're attracted to like certain colours and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Right. Well, okay, that was Apophenia. Richard, hello.
Oh, do you want me to go now? I was going to let Josh go now.
I'm easy. I can go now or I can go later.
I don't mind. I'll let Josh go next.
I'm going to go.
Okay, Josh is going. Right, go.
I like figuring it out.
Right. So, this topic from me it's a little bit unusual, but it's not as unusual as I've just made it sound by saying that it's unusual. I shouldn't have just said anything. What am I doing?
I don't know, Josh. What are you doing?
It's unusual in the sense that it doesn't take the normal format that I've taken for a topic.
Okay.
So, I want your first thoughts on what the 10 most memorable events were during the year 2000. And I know that you're not going to get all 10, so I just want to hear 5 of the 10 most memorable events from the year 2000.
Mate, I've got one.
Good grief.
So
go on, Richard.
I remember there was a bug.
Yes, the
going
Millenium bug.
A computer bug.
Yeah, the Millenium bug.
Can you tell me anything about the Millenium bug?
No.
Wait, was this the one that didn't exist, that everyone thought the computers were all going to crash, the Y2K thing, that they thought everything was going to reset and blow up and all that?
The issue behind the Millenium bug was that when kind of computers were first concepted, the date format was only in 2 digits, so like the last two digits of a date. Of
course.
And this was first computer was like 1958 or something, which could handle dates. So it was only capable of dealing with dates in the 20th century. So like 1900 through to 1999. So the idea was when we progressed to the next millennium, the first 2 digits would change. So it'd be like 2000. And all the computer systems just wouldn't be able to cope with this. So like banks would crash.
Oh wow.
Power plants were, forecasted to explode just based off of like a simple dating system.
And the reality is they just rolled onto zero, didn't they? Life went on.
They actually did solve this issue. Like, they did quite a lot of recoding of operating systems, for example. But this was like the big thing, one of the 10 big things which were going on during 2000.
That's like the only thing I remember. Oh, and the Millennium Dome.
Millennium Dome, but I don't think that was actually finished on time, so it didn't make my top 10.
Right, top 10 memorable things.
Yeah, that was one of them.
I mean, other than literally,
I'm not expecting you to get all 10. So
other than literally, it's the Millennium, New Year's.
So that's
you know
another
what I mean?
big one.
Like
that is another big
New
one.
Year's
Just the very fact that it's New
It's a new
Year's,
century, wasn't it?
It's
It's
the new
new
millennium. So for me, that would be a big one.
That is.
I've heard some. Oh, sorry.
You know
I've
what?
heard some.
Go on,
Go on, Rich.
No, you go on.
I was going to
You
say,
go on.
like, that is the obvious one, which isn't actually listed in the top 10.
Right, interesting.
Right, okay.
I'm going to give you that. So you've got 2 so far, lads. I'm quite happy with
So,
that.
I think it came out later, but wasn't there a guy that was in 2 different centuries because he had like a conference in China, then he had to like fly back to America and he celebrated Millennium and
That's cool.
celebrated the Millennium twice.
That doesn't sound too far-fetched. I do believe that could happen, but I don't think it was one of the top 10 most memorable.
Or it might have been a ship. Well, something like that. I'll have to look into it.
There is something associated with travel in this top 10 list.
Someone travelled back in time because he spent...
Something to do with Concorde?
It was something to do with the Concorde.
Yeah, is that
okay.
when it was either the ended Concorde or maybe the Concorde crash?
So, the Concorde was decommissioned in 2003. But there was a notable Concorde crash
Right, I should
in
not
2000,
celebrate. I'm sorry.
which makes the top 10 memorable things, and I'm amazed that you managed to get that. So
That's pretty cool.
I don't know how I pulled that out.
this was the Air France flight
Yeah, no, I remember
4590. It was the first ever Concorde crash, and it killed 113 people.
Wow.
And yeah, it meant that Concorde was out of flight for a little while they were doing safety checks and all the others. And then I think it possibly contributed to one of the reasons why they were discontinued.
I would love to fly on Concorde.
No, I would have as
It's
well.
one of those things that I really want to do as well.
I would love to have experienced Concorde.
Because we're in that era where it like came out. And
so you've got 2 of them.
decommissioned.
I'm going to have to speed things up because it's going to take a while, I think.
All right.
Let's
I'm
see
going
if
to
you
take
can
a
bash
stab.
any more out.
I'm going to take a stab at Millennium babies. Babies that are born in the 2000.
I mean, it's a thing, but it's not a memorable thing.
Okay.
No.
There wasn't like a baby boom or anything.
Well, is this something to do with music?
There is a big thing to do with music here.
I've got a hunch. I don't know if it's right, but was it when MP3 was first released?
Not to my knowledge, it wasn't.
Okay,
no.
never mind.
It's not what I'm thinking of.
Right, then it might be the iPod.
No.
Oh!
So I'm gonna say one word, and
Right.
hopefully this will prompt you with regards to that thing relating to music. So the word is Napster.
Oh, downloading music begins.
Napster, yeah. So
I mean,
there was a massive story.
it was like a scandal, weren't it?
Yes.
Huge scandal. I can't remember what it was, but there was a big.
There was a massive lawsuit between Metallica and Napster because one of Metallica's demos, I Disappear, was actually leaked before it was released. And it was spread like globally through Napster. So like Metallica entered this massive lawsuit with Napster about, kind of copyright and
distribution.
Sorry, edit that out. Right. But copyright and related to music streaming, for example. So it actually resulted in the end of Napster, the crash of Napster, but not the end of digital music or digital streaming as we know of it. But yeah, so that was one of the others. It was a big lawsuit between Metallica and Napster.
Well, I don't think we're going to get the others.
We got close, Richard. We got close with music and MP3. We're getting there.
We got the bugs, so that was like the biggest thing I could have thought of.
Do you want another minute, or do you want me to?
I don't think we're going to get them. If there's 10,
you've done really well so far. I only wanted 5, and you've got 3.
With assistance, we've got 3. Yeah. Oh, come on.
I'm gonna give you a hint for one of them.
Go on.
So it's a gaming console related.
Xbox
the Xbox
was released.
Was released.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Oh.
It
When
was the
that? Was that
PS2.
2000?
So
Oh, it was a
PS2 was
Oh,
released.
okay.
Was the Xbox 2001 then?
Yeah,
I think it's
September
shortly
2000.
followed, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's 2001
September 2001.
because Halo Combat Evolved 2001.
yeah.
Yes, and it was the console
Legend
release
of a game.
It was
Absolutely.
it was a beast of a year. If like I'm gonna give you the other memorable events now.
Wait.
Oh wait, do you want to keep guessing?
I want to have a stab at see if it was something
This
else.
is interesting, isn't it? This is essentially 10
Yeah,
topics. in one.
I'm really.
Yes.
I mean, I was like. I mean, I was like 7 or 8 at this time.
8.
So,
yeah. We were 8.
and I
Yeah.
can just about remember what I did last week. So,
I know.
You're doing so well.
Yeah.
right, for some reason in my head, I don't know, something Michael Jackson related.
It's not on my list.
Right, okay, I don't know, because I'm just wondering when did all
Michael
the stuff
Jackson
start.
was it?
When did all this
That was
stuff?
later. Yeah, that was a
Was
little
it
bit
later? Right, okay.
Something to do with the royal family?
Not necessarily, no.
Okay.
What I am going to give you as a hint is the word DNA.
Was discovered. No, joking. It was discovered before that. But I know.
The first
DNA.
transplant take place?
No, but that's a really good guess. This
Wow.
was this event has been one of the most defining events of our human history.
Mate, was it? I might get laughed at now. Was it when they grew an ear on the back of a mouse?
I was just thinking that.
Was it
No.
that?
No, I think that was a little bit later.
That's probably earlier,
Come on.
I think.
Right. It's not. It's
right,
not.
put us out of our misery.
It's not the cloning
Right.
of Molly Dolly.
No, it wasn't. So this
Just shoot. Go on.
this event was the result of over 20 years of scientific collaboration,
Oh, wow.
and it was the whole genome sequencing of the human genome. So we basically sequenced our whole DNA. It took over 20 years to do, but
Wow.
that project finished in mid to early, I didn't write down the
Blimey.
exact date, 2000s. But it was a $3 billion project.
Good grief.
Flipping heck.
I think
And that's a lot then.
Yes, I think 7 countries were
Flipping heck.
involved. It was June 2000. I did write it down.
Oh.
So yeah, the sequencing of human
My
DNA,
gosh.
which is
Nice.
just amazing.
That's mind-boggling, isn't it? Like, because we take it for, well, the science industry takes it for granted now.
Yeah, basically like all scientific progression with regards to like, kind of gene editing, etc., has stemmed from
Wow.
this event.
Wow.
So that's another one. There was another computer virus / bug called the I Love You computer virus, and this was
Okay.
basically a Trojan kind of like virus which was sent to people via emails which said I love you. And that resulted in an £8 billion loss globally to try and resolve this issue.
Wow.
But yeah, it was one of the biggest malware events at the time.
Oh my gosh.
Over 45 million people were hit in one day from this email attack.
Oh my days.
You consider
That's-
that not everyone's even on the internet at
yeah,
this
in
point.
2000.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like, I think my dad had a computer in the study, and we had internet, and I remember it
But
was
it was
still
like
kind of
modem.
like
it was
still
like
like
AOL.
people were like, "Why do you want that?" You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. And now, yeah.
Okay, so the next one as well
go on, mate.
was something called the dot-com bubble. So this was a stock market which was basically
okay.
constructed based off of like how many views sites had. So this had been the collapse basically of a stock market based off of like speculation on internet related companies.
Wow.
And between 1995 and March 2000 there was a 400% increase in shares, and then a new metric of like evaluating like internet traffic and history came about, and they realized that how they were doing it previously wasn't insightful at all. So all these companies they'd valued as being like really high value companies just crashed. So that's another one.
Wow.
And then there was obviously the 2000 Summer Olympics in Sydney,
I was thinking when that was. I thought
which
it was like
was the first
2001.
Olympics that blood tests were introduced, for
Really?
screening participants. Richard, you'll find this interesting. It was also the first Olympics with women's weightlifting event.
Oh, okay.
How about that?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And
Wow,
this
that
year,
late.
well, 2000,
Nice.
yeah. Quite.
Yeah.
I think it was one of the years that the first female won a gold medal as well.
Was it a Russian?
I
They
can't-
always
I'd have
seem to.
I can't.
They always
Might have been a
seem
runner.
I
to.
can't remember.
They
if I'm
always
being
seem
honest.
to be beasts. The Russians.
Pole,
at
yeah, the
weightlifting.
Russians are good at pole vaulting, aren't they?
And then the last one. Sorry, this is taking so long. There's another two.
I love
but
it.
I'm just
I
gonna
love
give
it.
you.
Yeah.
All right, I'll give
Go
you.
for it.
I'll give them your
Go,
go.
go.
Alright,
Yeah, yeah.
A major event in US like presidential politics, like the Al Gore Bush election. I don't know how
Yes.
much you know about this, but basically, Al Gore won the election based off of votes. So he got like over 500,000 more votes than George Bush.
Mm.
But Bush won more states, so he had the majority in that sense.
Okay,
That's like
yeah.
our seat system, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So there was
that
one
makes sense.
one state, Florida, which was actually, I think, George Bush's brother was kind of the elected official of that state, but they had to do
Right.
a recount that
Right,
was
okay.
the deciding state, and it
Wow.
took more
Wow.
than a month to recount all the votes.
Crikey.
Flipping out.
And
It's-
Bush won in that state by 537 votes.
Wow. Not a lot.
So this
No.
was like a massive year.
It's weird. Like one of my guesses was actually going to be Bush, because I didn't know when he came in, but I knew it was around that time because it's not long after that we get the twins, and
Yeah, exactly. And then
so Bush was actually going to be
Yeah.
one of my guesses.
yeah,
But
And then go and watch the last one,
Al
Josh.
Gore was absolutely gutted. I don't know if you've ever seen
Yeah, but-
An Inconvenient Truth, but he goes on about it a little bit in that. I feel really sorry for him. I do think like global politics, everything would have changed drastically if Al Gore would have been elected versus
oh
Bush.
yeah.
But we're not going to get into politics on this podcast.
No, we're not. That is
Something to
another
look
topic.
at, Rich.
But the last topic
Yes.
is also politics related. So this was the year that Vladimir Putin was elected as president
yeah, of course.
Russia, and he won by 53% of the vote out of
Of course he did. Yeah.
11 elected candidates. So
Wow.
registered
Wow.
candidates, not elected.
Yeah.
Yeah, so quite a year actually. Like,
Amazing.
When we
There's a
think
lot
that
going
we
on,
were
man.
like
Yeah, there was a
7 or
lot.
8 at the time.
I had no idea.
So yeah, something a little bit different for you, but
That's
I think
good.
you guys
No,
did
I
pretty well
like
on
that. I like that. I think you've added
Yeah,
something
really,
new.
I love that.
Makes a change
And then we
from,
come on
from the words I can't pronounce last week.
And then we come on to my topic.
Yes, Richard, go on. Give us it.
I kind of think like Josh should have gone last now.
Why?
That was
'Cause
scheduled. That's what we scheduled.
Because
and
I
then-
talked for 18 minutes.
Yeah. So
Right, go on, Rich.
I would like your first thoughts on what was and the purpose of the bloody red flag.
The bloody red flag.
Yes.
Right, military history. We're in that ballpark, are we?
It's Richard, so I think it might be safe to assume something
18th
like
century, yeah. 18th century or
Right.
17th century, around that era, you know.
1847.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, it's just 100
I mean,
years.
So
a
we're
lot
on the
went on within
we're
those.
on the border. Are we on the like late
Oh,
seven?
maybe we are.
Are we on like late 1600s into 1700s?
No,
The bloody red
17th,
flag.
18th century, yeah, there's a lot went on. It was generic within those two centuries.
Was
All
it?
right.
Is this an event which has occurred within the United Kingdom?
No, it's not an event.
Oh,
no.
it's not an event.
Oh, right.
No.
Okay. So first thoughts, right. Josh, bloody red flag.
My first
Yeah.
thoughts prior to what Richard has just told me was something to do with, like, something maybe like the War of the Roses, but it's not an event. So I'm going to have to re-evaluate what my first thought is. So it's not an event, but it's a bloody red flag.
Yeah, so I want to know who was it associated with and what was its purpose.
So it's like an emblem or a symbol for someone.
Yeah, it's more to symbolism.
Okay.
Type of
Okay.
thing.
So right. Okay then. My first thought, based on what you're saying there, is it's linked to some kind of political movement, maybe. like
Yeah.
some kind
Yeah,
of revolutionary
there is politics
type
in it.
thing?
There was politics going on with that. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's around the time of the American Revolution as well, isn't it?
Yeah, the American Revolution was
You're
going
right,
on. I mean,
mate.
a lot went on. Think around the area, but a lot of countries
Around
had,
that area.
Yeah.
Era, maybe. I don't know.
Area.
Era.
So like, you were thinking like the American
so
Civil
it's
War.
American. Oh, okay.
Not
right.
necessarily American, but it's on that. it's in that
It's in that area.
geological area.
It's in that,
So
But not
As in-
necessarily American.
as in, like,
The
Canada through
Americas.
America, through South America.
South America,
like through-
South America.
South America.
But
Wow.
I don't get too attached with like South America. Just think it
Bloody flag.
the red bloody flag. So, I will.
Clue us, go on.
I'll clue
I think
you.
we're going to need clues.
Yeah, I think we need a hint.
So the opposite is the Jolly Roger.
Oh!
Pirates.
Yeah, there we
wait,
go.
wait. Oh, I need to think.
I knew.
So we're thinking pirates here.
Yeah, and then the Jolly Roger.
Right,
The
is
actual
it-
what Jolly Roger is, it's in reference to that.
Interesting.
And we know it's a flag, but it has a purpose.
Yes.
Right, okay, so you said in contrast to the Jolly Roger.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like, because I know pirates were linked a lot with slavery, so they would raid ships,
Yep.
particularly Christians, I think, as well, interestingly, and they would enslave people.
Right.
So they were much like the spirits in England who were snatching people and coaxing people into basically becoming slaves in America.
Right.
So I'm wondering, because there was the war on Barbary that the English warred, which was about trying to deal with this kind of piracy,
right.
stealing people and enslaving them on the sea. So is it linked to that? Is it linked to the war on Barbary?
No.
So a flag
No.
to
It's the
say
war on
that they're
Barbary.
not pirates, for example.
You're getting closer, Josh. Jensen,
Is it?
not. No, you're. It's not in relation to
No, it's
that.
a no.
Yeah, it's a no.
Okay.
Okay.
No.
The bloody red flag.
Think of what the purpose of the Jolly Roger was, and yeah,
I mean, it was to symbol that you were something, wasn't it?
yeah. So the
Just to
Jolly
symbolise
Roger
Like an
is
affiliation, yeah.
yeah. So the Jolly Roger is the affiliation, and then the bloody red flag had a
Is it like a
specific
mutineering of
meaning and
pirates?
purpose to do with that. Yeah, so
Maybe.
it is to do with pirates. Yeah, and it's
Is it to do with mutineers?
So is it a type
no.
of pirate flag then?
yeah. So it's a type of pirate flag,
Okay.
and then but it had a specific purpose.
Was it a type? Were they pirates that specifically? But they were like they were working for someone.
No.
Okay, right.
Does it maybe imply that if we pirate your ship, we're not allowing any survivors, for example?
Ooh, yeah, I want to see where's that going to take you, Josh. I want to see, yes.
I don't really know, you know.
You're on the
kinda
right
peeked at
track with that
Am
one.
I right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Basically,
So
like
they're not
a,
I'll give you.
a
I'll
last
say
man
this.
standing kind of thing.
No,
isn't
no.
it?
So I'll say this: the Jolly Roger flag had one purpose,
Right.
and this flag, if you saw the bloody red flag, then I want to know
was
what
bad.
that purpose was.
Right. Okay. So they're basically the different kinds of pirates then, aren't they?
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
No, it could be the same
Oh my
pirates.
gosh.
So
I thought you got it.
Okay.
Then. I was.
Is it like?
Go on, Jensen.
I don't know, because like you mentioned something in it, like Richard seemed to sort of kind of allude to it. It's like if you got raided by the bloody red flag guys, it was like there was going to be no survivors if that happened.
yes.
So it's almost like, but so then why are they raiding you? They're obviously not raiding you to make you into slaves. They're
No, but
like
to
they're
kind of
there to
steal-
like to plunder you,
Yeah.
to take all your goods and all that kind of stuff, to pillage you generally.
Yeah.
General.
So you're pretty
just
much on the
general-
ballpark there. So you wanted to.
So
That's what I said, is it not though?
it's
Yeah,
basically
go on,
exactly
James. I
what
think
you said.
So
I think in the interest of time,
yeah. So if you saw the Jolly
Schools.
Roger, which was a black and white flag, it means they wanted to take your goods on the particular ship. And if you saw
Right.
the bloody red flag, you knew it means that they're not going to take any prisoners, so you're pretty much dead.
Right.
And it was
Oh,
a
well.
sign to say
Right.
like, we're not gonna. We have one purpose, and
Yeah. There's no point.
there's no point trying to fight
yeah.
because. Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. So it's
Because
just
the white
like,
flag is
interesting.
the flag of surrender, isn't it? So it makes sense.
yeah. So
that
the
you
Jolly
kind of-
Roger was
I'm presuming
a black
it's a
flag with-
bloodied. Yeah.
so it's like another aggression to say.
Well,
That's interesting. So is there more of these flags? Do you know, Rich? I'm guessing there are to like show different levels of piratey badness.
Yeah. So there was a few. I mean, I didn't Google that side of it or research that side of it too much.
Intrigued.
But so I'll give you
I'm
one thing.
intrigued in
So
that.
if the Royal Navy at the time, if they put their Union Jack upside down, it means that they've been taken over.
oh, okay, right.
Oh.
So it's like a sign to like the other ships nearby to say we've been taken over. Only to the British, of course, but yeah. So it's a similar
Yeah.
idea to that, saying if you saw the bloody red flag, you knew you were gonna
Well,
pretty much.
That's really
Suffer.
interesting, mate.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
So we've just got around a minute left. So shall we come up with a name real quick and then sign us off?
Yeah.
Right. So we've had like top 10 things for Millennium.
yep.
So
So it should be
Apophenia
Millennium
and the bloody red flag.
for me. It should come.
Millennium.
The bloody Millennium Athena.
Bloody Millennium Apophenia.
Should we avoid the word bloody in the
Maybe,
title?
yeah.
The red Athena Millennium. Oh my, that's a tongue twister.
Apophenia Millennium.
I've got last week stuck in my head.
Red Apophenia.
Apophenia's Millennium flag. Apophenia's Millennium.
Yes, I like that. Yeah,
There it is, Josh. I love it. All right, boys. Well, I think that's all we've got time for this week. So I'll see you all soon.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's
see
been
you
a
next
great
week, yeah.
episode.
It's been a good
amazing.
episode. I'll see you soon. Right. Well, this has been First Thoughts. Goodbye, guys.
See you later.
Yep. Take care. See you later.
See you
Bye-bye.
later.
Bye.
Bye bye.